Bit of suspense. Oh. At Aardaia, we invent new crops using first principles design to solve global problems, starting with sustainable protein. Now, what do I mean by that? First of all, what is a crop? Well, all crops were once wild plants, and they were made into crops by the sustained effort of our ancestors, often thousands of years ago, right at the dawn of civilization. And for first principles design, well, let me illustrate that using a few of our older crops, or legacy crops, as we like to call them. This is a potato, and this is a sweet potato. These are both tuber crops. And what tuber crops have in common is an incredible yield potential. On the best fields, they can get over 100 tons per hectare. Unfortunately, though, they have very little protein. Now, if you want protein, you need something like this. This is a fava bean, a pea, and a soybean. These are all legumes. And what legumes have is an amazing ability to make their own nitrogen fertilizer, because of which they're super rich in protein. Now, if you wanted to produce a lot of protein, what you would like is a crop that had the yield potential of a tuber and the protein potential of a legume. That is first principles design applied to crops. And of course, that is what we do at Aardaia. This is an aardaker. It's a nitrogen-fixing, protein-rich tuber, because of which it can produce 5 times more protein than any existing crop. And we can achieve this without resorting to biotech or GMO, but just by tapping into what is out there in nature. Now, the aardaker is our flagship, but it is just the beginning. At Aardaia, we are building a platform for domestication on demand, to create new crops, a system to design and develop new crops to solve global challenges. And my question for you is, if the aardaker solves protein, what challenge should our next crop solve? Thank you.
I don't know where to start, Pork, because I think it's already, you're taking on a fantastic challenge to put a new crop on the market, and I congratulate you with this. This is already quite a challenge, I think, but you're asking us about the next addition to your portfolio. There's so many variables. I mean, there's so many crops that are grown in very locally in West Africa, for instance, with fantastic characteristics. You know, they need barely any water. They have protein or fiber. I mean, fiber is the next protein big thing, right? So I mean, there's so many characteristics that you would want to kind of combine in one. So I think we need an AI model to solve this.
Don't think about the crop. Think about the challenge. We'll worry about the crop. So
well,
what do you think is the challenge that needs to be solved?
The challenges are fully clear. I think the challenges are resilience. I mean, we see loads of crops kind of moving in different geographical directions, because it's virtually impossible to grow them in the location where they're grown right now because of climate change. So I think on the challenge side, we know what the challenges are. I mean, water, climate change, salinity, everything that comes with that. So resilience is the key word here.
Resilience. Okay. Thank you.
I have nothing to add. I agree.
Resilience.
Yeah.
I
Just solve it, and then.
well, I think I still want to add yield, and it doesn't know if it's now protein or starch or fiber, but have a super efficient cropping system that actually can really do more with less.
Yeah.
And it comes down in the end to yield, however you define it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And everything around gut health or antioxidant, that would be really interesting as well.
Around what, an antioxidant?
Antioxidants. So everything that provides kind of effective functionality for longevity and well-being, and the gut health space, because usually you have kind of the same problem that you have an extremely low concentration, meaning the extraction is quite costly, meaning that you cannot use it in many applications. So if you can perform on a higher yield on those valuable ingredients, then it's going to be way cheaper to do that, which you will create a bigger market.
So high yield of high value secondary metabolites from a very resilient crop.
Exactly.
That's what we need to do.
There you
All
go.
right.
We have a question from the audience. Yes, please.
Super cool idea. Can you explain maybe a little bit how you, without going into too much IP sensitive details,
No, that's fine.
regarding how you created this new aardaker, if I got that.
Yeah, sure. Look, I mean, what we do is we leverage a bunch of new technologies that have come online, so and especially become affordable in the last few years. So basically, genome sequencing, high throughput and high depth phenotyping, speed breeding, and then stitching all that together using genomic prediction. So what we try to do is develop data sets which allow us to move a lot of the breeding from the field onto a computer, make predictions, validate those predictions, and then speed the development of that particular set of alleles in a speed breeding environment. And what this allows us to do is to bring elite genetics from a wild state or to an elite state very, very quickly with much lower cost than was ever possible before.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a good throw. Oh.
Thanks, I really enjoyed your presentation. So you think big, right? But unfortunately, our regulatory frameworks are not really made for that, right? So aardaker, would that trigger a novel food, right? And everything.
Oh,
that
well,
comes
it's great
with
that you asked that. We happen to have somebody in the back here who wrote a legal opinion that the aardaker is not a novel food. And that is part of the design, and it's also a very, when it comes to ag at least, and food, a very regulatory light approach. So it doesn't have any of the challenges associated with biotech. And this is a food. It was eaten prior to the 15th of May, 1997 in Europe. There are many other species like that. I mean, there's 30,000 edible plants out there. Many of those were eaten in Europe. The fact that we have a very narrow diet today doesn't mean that we didn't have a wider diet in the past. So we can tap into that, which eases our regulatory path.
Thank you.
There was another question back there.
Okay, very short. That's a big throw. Nice.
Thanks. Yeah, so it sounds great. What does it taste like?
Oh, good question. So our first customer that bought the entire harvest last year and is buying almost all the harvest this year is a 2-star Michelin restaurant in Nijmegen called the Nieuwe Winkel. And they're buying it because it tastes good. And it tastes a little bit like something between a potato and a sweet chestnut with an element of cassava, if that says anything to you. So it's a neutral, mild flavor. It's got a drier texture. It has twice the dry matter content of potato. But historically, it was also consumed as a delicacy. So this was something that you could buy in the markets of Amsterdam, like the way actually you could buy chestnuts, that they would roast them and sell them. And we have fun woodcuts showing people doing that in the early 1800s. And you can do a lot of different things with it. We are targeting the food ingredients market because it has a very high functional protein, high technofunctional properties, and okay, I'll be off the stage now, and a very good amino acid profile. But and also we think that's the easiest way to get into the market. But for now, we go really high end with Michelin star restaurants.